Hi! Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat at magandang gabi dito sa States. Nandito na naman po ako sa harapan ninyo po. Ako po si Ginang White at ako po ay taga San Diego, California. Gusto ko pong i-reintroduce yung sarili ko. Sabi nga ni Dr. E at meron ako mga bagong viewers na nakangalap sa kanyang site. So talagang gusto ko introduce sa inyo. Ako po ay science teacher dito sa San Diego, California. I'm also your tech support dahil ako po ay nag-aaral ng educational technology and anything that has to do with technology, learning platforms, integrating technology in the classroom. Ako po ang go-to girl ninyo. Napapansin niyo wala akong virtual background kasi mabagal ang internet ko dito. Yes, nandito ako sa States, mabagal ang internet. But just the same, kaya green din ang aking suot ngayong araw na ito. So, kamusta po kayong lahat dyan? At excited na po akong i-share sa inyo ang aking nalalaman about this learning platform na ginagamit ko na noon-noon pa and they have grown ever since. Pero bago tayo magpunta sa paggamit ng CK-12, gusto ko po sanang tawagin ang ating mga science teachers in the Philippines. So I have made a spreadsheet of the most essential learning competencies for 7th through 12th grade. I encourage you science teachers in the Philippines to add your video content sa spreadsheet dito sa website na nakikita ninyo para po sa ibang mga teachers na nangangailangan po ng resources. Meron na din po tayo niyan for math through Dr. E. So, once nag-start na ulit akong gumawa ng mga video lessons, i-add ko yung aking mga video lesson link dyan sa Most Essential Learning Competency spreadsheet na inihanda ko po para sa inyo, mga dear teachers dyan sa Philippines. But syempre, hindi mabubuo ang ating collection without your help. So hopefully po, maging part po kayo nitong spreadsheet na ito para marami po tayong matulungan na ibang mga teachers na naghahanap ng video lesson resources para po ngayong pasukan. By the way, ang plano ko po, right after this webinar, magpo-focus po ako sa paggawa ng video lessons. I will still have live webinars or live sessions na tinatawag, but I think Ang plano namin ni Dr. E is for us to focus on the student side, video lessons and all that. So, hang tight po at we're trying to, think about what we can prepare po para po sa inyong lahat. So, that being said, natapos na po ang 1-month-long naming coursework ni Dr. E. In fact, sa Friday ang last day. So, nagpa-finalize na lang kami ng aming coursework for effective integration of video content lesson and learning resource platforms. So, natutuwa po kami ni Dr. E kasi madami kaming teachers na talagang nagpursige to finish their coursework, which is why nandito si Dr. E today, dyan sa Philippines, to congratulate our finishers sa coursework na ito. So, without further ado, Dr. E, join us naman at congratulate natin. Ready ka na ba? Naka-green ka rin, di ba?
Hello po! Good morning po. Ako po ulit ang kasama ninyo ngayong araw na ito. And thank you, Ginang White, for inviting me dito sa channel mo and for allowing me to congratulate our finishers at yung ating 46 na mga teachers na talagang nagpursige at nagtyaga at kinumpleto yung mga assignments na binigay namin ni Ginang White sa inyo para rin syempre ma-practice kayo para sa pagdating ng first day of school ninyo handang-handa na kayo.
Ay, Dr. E, balita ako napakahirap daw ng pa-assignment mo.
Totoo naman po 'yun kasi po ang goal po kasi namin ni Ginang White kasi po naranasan na po namin kung gaano kahirap ang magawa ng content. And alam namin yung struggle as a first-time content creator, yung awkwardness ng pagharap sa camera, yung nakaharap ka na sa camera for 3 minutes pero wala pa rin lumalabas sa bibig mo, mental block ka in the middle of your script sa utak mo, yung thought na baka yung mga sinasabi mo ay mali. Alam po namin lahat yon, naranasan namin lahat yon. At yung goal namin talaga, kaya namin ginawa yung coursework, kaya sinadjust ko kay Ginang White na gumawa ng Google Classroom or coursework para sa Google Classroom is para ihanda talaga yung mga teachers na nanonood at sumusubaybay every week sa Number Bender Live. Every Lunes, na ngayon meron tayo every Tuesday. Kasi po iba talaga pagka kayo ang gumagawa. Iba kasi pag pinapanood mo lang, especially kung pinapanood nyo is ako or si Ginang White, na sobrang tagal na namin ginagawa itong paggawa ng content online, yung pagbibigay namin ng mga tips. So sobrang dali, kaya feeling nung ibang mga teachers, madali lang talagang gawin. Kasi ganun din po yung naisip ko nung nanonood po ako ng mga videos ni Khan Academy, ni Math BFF, Organic Mr. Anderson. So yung mga content creator na nauna sa amin, pag pinapanood ko sila, ay kayang-kaya ko yan. Ay, ganun lang pala, madali lang yan. And nung ako na yung sumalang, noong 2013, doon po talaga na-realize ko talaga na hindi ganun kadali ang gumawa ng content. Actually po, kwento ko na rin, kasi hindi ko pa ito nakukwento sa Number Bender Live. Nung nag-umpisa po kasi gumawa ng video content, tumigil po ako after 2 weeks. Kasi sobrang hirap, sobrang napagod ako, tapos na-stress ako dun sa editing at yung sobrang stressful po. So hindi ko siya tinuloy, nagpahinga ako ng 6 months ulit and then ni-resurrect ko lang yung channel ko kasi kailangan ko na pong gawin. So parang new normal sa atin ngayon, nagkaroon ng COVID, sa akin naman po, kailangan kong gawin dahil po nabawasan ako ng 10 minutes doon sa klase ko sa Barstow High School. So kailangan ko lang gumawa ng paraan. Kaya I feel you, mga teachers. Kaya po ako po ay natutuwa dahil po nakita ko po yung iba pong mga gawa ng ating mga teachers ngayon, yung mga content nyo. So I really want to congratulate you and I'm so proud dun sa ginagawa niyo. Alam kong mahirap, pero I can assure you na pag na-start nyo nang gawin yung mga content nyo at nasanay na kayo, mas magiging proud kayo sa sarili ninyo at yung mga students ninyo ay hahanga sa inyo at sila naman yung mag-aspire na maging katulad ninyo. And yun yung hangad namin dalawa ni Ginang White. Panasan ninyo at makuha ninyo dito sa ginagawa namin 2 months na pagbibigay ng aming mga best practices para po sa inyo.
Yan. Thank you, Dr. E, sa pag-join sa amin. Alam kong busy ka at busy as a V. Ika nga. Pero on Saturday sa Pilipinas at 10 in the morning, tayo po ay magkikita-kita ng mga graduates natin. I will send out an email invite po for a Zoom graduation together with me and Dr. E, and Mrs. Watkins actually is in the backstage.
Hi, Mrs.
Will also
Watkins.
join us para po sa ating graduation ceremony. Wala po kayong makikitang ganitong graduation ceremony sa kahit na anong coursework na makikita ninyo dahil we actually celebrate our
So si Adam po yun.
Si Adam po yun.
Nasa gitna. Hi, Adam.
I'll see you in a few. Yan ang
pagka nagla-live at meron kayong mga anak, expect nyo na po yan na mangyayari. So kailangan
Oo. Di ba? At least na meet kayo.
yes.
Actually, ninong niya si Dr. E. Kaya excited na makita. Well, anyway. So, magkita-kita po tayo mga graduate. Thank you, Dr. E, sa iyong maikling time. Next week, i-plug mo na rin ang ating plano next week.
Next week, Monday, sa Number Bender Live.
Yes.
Mga students naman po ang aabangan ninyo dahil po sa haba po ng ating mga Number Bender Live, lagi po tayo nagpo-focus sa ano ba ang kailangan ng teachers, ano ba ang dapat gawin ng mga teachers, ano ba ang kailangan gawin ng mga parents.
Yes.
Pero wala pa po na nagtatanong ano ba ang kailangan at ano ba ang expectations ng mga students para sa ating mga teachers pagdating po ng new normal. At yan po ang tatalakayin natin sa Lunes. At meron po kami mga guests na chikiting. At mismo ang magtatanong sa ating mga teachers kung ano yung expectations nila sa kanilang alternative learning pagdating po ng pasukan.
Yes, excited na ako dyan, Dr. E. So, sana po ay makita namin kayo next week sa Number Bender Live. Andun naman po ako, co-hosting Dr. E. At syempre po, para po sa inyo yan, napaka-special po ng ating programa next week. So, Dr. E, maraming salamat sa iyong pagbisita sa amin dito sa Ginang White Science Online. Magkita-kita tayo sa backstage later. Bye!
Bye, Ginang White. Bye, mga teachers. See you soon.
Bye! Ayan. Siyempre, na-excite ako doon. Pero siyempre, we will not forget who's here today. So let's find out kung sino po ang nandito sa atin na nanonood for today. Let's start po with Ma'am Roselyn Celestial Solera. Hi, Ma'am Rose. Good morning. And she's from Imus, Cavite. Kayo po ay nasa coursework namin. Sana po ay matapos niyo yung ating coursework. I'm sure you guys are working very hard. Ma'am Rose, good morning to you. Thank you for watching. Also to Jing Gonzalez de los Santos from Taytay, Rizal. Hi! Sana po ay may matutunan kayo dito sa ating CK-12 webinar. And also to Taryn Gargaritano from Muntinlupa. Hello and good morning to you, Taryn. Nice profile. Ma'am Sher, Mamita, hello to all watching from Division of Makati, Tibagan High School. Hello po sa lahat ng mga taga-Tibagan High School. Thank you for watching. Sino po ba ang ating... Nandito si Bean. Ganun ba? Bean from Siniloan, Laguna. Wow! Malapit ba ito kala Dr. E? Pero hello sa lahat ng mga taga-Laguna. Ma'am Divina, just passing by before the start of the class. I'm sure magti-team replay yan si Ma'am Divina. Hello po. Gagamitin ko yung video nyo pala, Ma'am Tani Bless Nadal. Good morning from Baez City Division, Negros Oriental. Thank you for watching, Miss Tani or Tani? Tani. Maraming salamat po. Thank you for watching and tuning in. Sana po may matutunan kayo. Meron pa ba tayong good morning? And last but not the least is Miss Marilyn De La Cruz watching from Bacoor, Cavite. Sa lahat ng mga taga Cavite, hello po sa inyong lahat. Sana po may matutunan kayo ngayon sa ating CK-12 webinar. At hindi na po tayo magpapaligoy-ligoy pa because we have a lot of things in store for you para naman po meron kayong magamit as a supplement, lalong-lalo na po mga engaging activities that you can provide for your students, which CK-12 can provide. So, without further ado, we are going to talk about how we can maximize the use of CK-12 to math and science classes. Yes, tama po, math and science classes. Originally, itong CK-12 na ito was made for math and science. And slowly, they're actually putting other subject areas. So marami na silang collection for math and science talaga. So when I started using this back in the day na talagang luma na siya, I mean, yung mga older versions niya, I find it very comprehensive in terms of the content. So, nung nagtuturo pa ako nung high school, I usually use CK-12 for me to find some reading passages, reading references for my students. Kasi yung textbook na meron kami sa classroom namin, nasa Barstow pa ako noon, is, it sucks. Sorry for the word, but it's not useful. So, I came across CK-12 and I found out na ito yung material na sakto sa curriculum na gusto kong i-implement sa classroom ko. Which is why I started using CK-12 kasi bukod sa reading resource na pwede kong i-save as PDF file or, print out ko siya, I found that meron din silang mga activities na engaging sa students. Pero during that time, nung ginagamit ko siya sa Barstow High School, no, na nagtuturo ako ng high school, syempre, hindi pa naman one-to-one Chromebook before. So, yung mga simulation activities ng CK-12, which I'll show you in a few, I use it sparingly. But now that we are in distance or remote learning, I think all their simulations, the features that CK-12 has, would really be beneficial for our students to stay engaged and also will also grasp that learning competencies that we would want for them to grasp during this coming school year. So, let us now take a good look at ano nga ba yung ma-offer ng CK-12 para sa mga bata natin. First and foremost, nabanggit ko na po sa inyo is yung kanilang reading resources. At tinatawag natin itong Flexbooks. So yung Flexbooks 2.0 na tinatawag, this is pretty much yung pinaka-electronic textbook nila. But it's 2.0 kasi before yung 1.0 and yung mga lumang version, para lang siyang PDF file. So para siyang textbook na nilagay sa PDF. But now that it is 2.0, it has actually more things embedded to it. So makikita natin yan in a few minutes. So another thing is yung mga interactive learnings na naka-embed dun sa Flexbook. Same's true with the adaptive practices, yung para siyang mga formative assessment na naka-embed sa mga lessons and concepts. Also, the simulations and interactives na matatagpuan ninyo sa CK-12 is really superior in my point of view kasi kumbaga intuitive siya. Yung bata ma-figure out agad, this is what I'm about to do in this interactive plex lesson, which I'll show you in a few minutes also. As well as if we create classes and assignments, it's very, very easy to use. So talagang we wanted to maximize this learning platform kasi unang-una, libre. It's for free. Okay? And I have not seen anything that says that you have to pay for premium or whatnot, which is why I really push for this learning platform because I know that there are many math and science teachers who will benefit from this platform. Kaya excited na akong ibahagi sa inyo kung ano nga ba yung mga features ng CK-12 that I find very relevant and also beneficial for our students. At ito rin yung gagamitin ko sa aking mga science classes pag nagpasok ka na sa August 31st dito po sa amin. Sa atin dyan sa Pilipinas, for public school teachers, 24th, and I think private schools already started. So, sana po ma-maximize nyo din ang paggamit ng CK-12. Aside from that, ipapakita ko rin sa inyo yung integration niya with other learning management systems like Google Classroom, most especially. Canvas, meron din yan. But we are going to focus on what CK-12 has to offer in to maximize your instruction. Kumbaga, yung curriculum mo, you can implement fully using CK-12. That being said, we're going to take a look first at your Flexbooks platform. So, yung Flexbook, already, like I mentioned earlier, para siyang electronic textbook. Pero, ang pagkakaiba niyan is that there's some embedded interactive lessons in it. It can be a video. There's also some questions in the reading material itself. And also, there is a button that says, take a practice test or start a practice test. So, para siyang formative assessment embedded to it. And also, teachers can also see student data or insights. So I'll show you in a moment. But your CK-12 textbook, Flexbook 2.0, let me show you first, can be customized into whatever you want as your topic. Pero I would recommend for you to look for Flexbooks na gawa na by other teachers. So here's a sample of my Flexbooks that I made for my 8th grade class. So I aligned it with my standards for next generation science standards. So kung kayo po meron kayong sariling standards for your school, like yung most essential learning competencies, you can actually put together a collection of topics. So ito yung sa akin. So meron akong 65 topics that I placed on this Flexbook so that all I need to do is to click it and assign it for my students. So this is an example of a Flexbook. But we don't need to reinvent the wheel really kasi meron na talagang mga Flexbooks na built-in na at ginawa na ng CK-12 for us. And therefore, all we need to do is to really kind of look for like what Flexbook would you like for other subjects. So you can just really create a new or you can just find it. Okay, so that is your Flexbooks. Now, let's go back to our slide. So, kung nasa computer po kayo ngayon and you plan to use Flexbooks, I encourage you to explore them, especially right after this webinar. Kasi it can actually help you kind of like map all your lessons that you would want and then align it with ano nga ba yung pwedeng interactive lesson. Kasi merong mga interactive lessons na talaga namang nakakatulong to reinforce what you are actually teaching. So I'll show you an example of the Flexbooks. So ito yung Flexbook na inassign ko sa estudyante ko because your Flexbook can actually what do you call this? Find out how many minutes your students read the content that you assign. So, ito yung features na parang it's really cool, lalo na kung if you created a class within CK-12, you will be able to find out how many minutes your students read the content and what their practice skill level is. So, here's an example. So, to do that, you have to click the toolbar on the upper right-hand side, and then there is this button that says Insights. So, when I click Insights, I will be able to find the students. So this is pretty much, I only have one student that I added in this particular class, which is Carl White, that's my son. So if I will be clicking his name, yung lines na nakikita nyo on the left-hand side, this is like a time tracker na kung how many minutes did it take or did he spend time on a specific place, no? So as you scroll down, diyan mo makita ilang minutes o 3 seconds lang siya nag-spend time on here, on here, on here, on here. I kid you not, para po sa inyo in advance, meron talaga mga estudyante, ang ginagawa nila dyan, scroll down lang, tapos minsan hindi nila panonoorin yan or whatnot, and then you're going to click view practice dyan sa lower right-hand side, no? So hindi nila babasahin. Pero pagka nakita nyo naman na ang kanilang proficiency level is very low, for example, dun yung malalaman na ay hindi pala nagbasa. So ito yung cool feature ng CK-12 wherein you actually have this student insight, no? So gusto ko lang i-share sa inyo yan, lalo na kung balak nyong gumawa ng class in CK-12, which I will discuss in a few minutes. Kasi malalaman natin kung engaged ba yung mga bata o talagang nag-scroll down lang tapos naglagay na ng nagsagot na kaagad ng practice without without really reading the content, parang gano'n. So ito yung insight. So yung tinatawag nating histogram, no? And then later on, this histogram that you have actually can help us pinpoint the area where the student is struggling. So let's say, for example, marami ka ng batang nagbasa nitong assignment na ito, tapos makita mo isa-isa yung mga test results ng bata or your practice test. So makikita mo itong green na circle na yan. When you click it, it actually will give you insight kung ano yung concept na hindi nila magets. Ganon. So that is your paragraph level insight. So here's an example. Oops, sorry. Let me go back up. So here's an example of this insight. So nakita mo na, we recommend reviewing this paragraph based on the practice questions that you missed. So that's based on what the students have struggled on. So later on, papakita ko yan sa inyo sa reports pagka napunta tayo sa adaptive practice. So that is your paragraph level insights. So, para po sa mga, para po for your information, meron na pong nakahandang mga different Flexbooks ang CK-12 na pwede niyong buksan and then try to pick and choose what resource you want. Kasi meron na silang CK-12 Earth Science for middle school. So middle school is 6 through 8 grade yan. Minsan 9th grade, kasama na rin yan dyan. CK-12 for life science for middle school, 6 through 8. So, based ito sa curriculum dito, not really curriculum, but for the grade levels. Middle school is 6 through 8 grade. And then for CK-12 physical science, for middle school, 6 through 8. Not only that, meron din for high school. So, biology for high school, chemistry, and also for physics. So, interactive physics. Meron yan sa high school. And syempre, malilimutan ba naman natin ang math. Meron ding middle school math, 7, 6, 7, and 8. So each grade level meron siya. And as well as sa high school, Algebra 1, Interactive Geometry, and Algebra 2. And para po sa mga naghahanap kung merong pre-calculus or calculus, meron po sila sa Flexbook. And to find that, all you need to do is to, and my computer is lagging right now, is for you to look for math Flexbooks. So right here's explore. So explore Flexbooks, and then on the Flexbooks, you can just simply search whatever math concept you're trying to look for. So meron kagad yang parang search bar and so on. So that is your math Flexbooks. Now, ang maganda pa sa CK-12 is that they focus on concept-based learning. So kung nakikita nyo sa sample na ito, you can see on this sample that there are 9 concepts that belongs to motion in one dimension, and then it's already there, like topic by topic. So yung concept na position and displacement and so on and so forth, available po yan sa CK-12. So here's an example of the concept-based learning. So I chose this CK-12 Interactive Middle School 6th grade for Common Core, and ito yung laman nitong Flexbook na ito. Here's the Flexbook. So the first topic is your ratios, and then there's like different concepts below, and that is an example of your concept-based learning. So pagka-kinlik mo yan, so let's say pictures of ratio, so you just click start, and then you will be able to see that concept of pictures of ratios. And you can either, like if you notice, there's actually an embedded interactive lesson right away dito sa example for this math Flexbook. So hindi lang siya basa like the libro or whatever, but it also has some interactive features of the Flexbook. So it's really cool kasi the students are allowed to interact within the material. So which is why it's really, really powerful when you actually have those real world content within the lesson, as well as some practice questions as well. And also, kung i-add nyo yan sa library niyo, kung hindi nyo naman gagamitin yung buong Flexbook na sinearch nyo, you can just pick and choose what you want. So that is your concept-based learning. So also, ang maganda pa dito is that yung mga concept na gusto nyong ituro sa estudyante nyo, they can learn it in different ways. It can be a video, it can be a simulation, it can be a study guide. Meron silang available study guides na pwede nyong i-provide sa mga estudyante ninyo, and as well as some, real world application of the concepts. So that's another perks of using your CK-12. Now, let's go to this adaptive practice. So ito yung isa sa favorite ko kasi and we'll try to answer that. I think I might call in Mrs. Watkins to calculate for me kasi gagawin natin, we'll use the math for it. But adaptive practice, they're all built in sa lahat ng CK-12 Flexbooks pagka ginamit nyo siya, no? And also, the adaptive practice allows the students to either answer again the question that they didn't get right. So, kumbaga, pagka nagkamali yung bata, wala na, tapos na. No. Adaptive means, pagka nakatapos ka na ng 10 question and then sunod-sunod siyang tama, you kind of move on to a higher level of question. So, parang you move up a level. So, mas mahirap na tanong ang itatanong sa'yo pagka na-master mo na yung mga madadaling question, halimbawa. So, yun yung ibig sabihin nun. Get 10 correct to move on to the new concept. So parang nababasa yan na, madali itong question sa'yo, so hihirapan ko yung tanong sa susunod na item. So, that is what you call adaptive practice. And it also, sa halimbawa, yung bata nagsagot, no, hindi binasa yung Flexbooks na inassign ninyo. So, ngayon, edi mga sagot niya sa practice ay mali ng mali. So ngayon, itong CK-12, automatically they will suggest na your answer is wrong, tapos it will actually give a student either a hint and at the same time parang recommended page na pwede nilang balikan para basahin muna nila yung bago sila magsagot. So which is why it is very powerful when you get to do this practice. So let's view the practice. And I would like a volunteer who would want to answer this preview adaptive practice with me kasi math problem ito. Okay? Si Dr. E kasi umalis na eh. Okay. Mrs. Watkins, would you like to help me on this? Because I'm not really good at math. Mrs. Watkins, would you like to join me?
Let's go.
Hi, Ms. Watkins. So,
hey, everybody.
Mrs. Watkins is here to help us for math. So, Mrs. Watkins, this is the adaptive practice. Ewan ko ba naman, I don't know why I chose math, but I feel like we have to also show the, the math content of CK-12 kasi ang daming magagandang math content sa CK-12. So, Mrs. Watkins, it says, look at the ratio, then write it in the other two ways that it can be written, 33 to 100.
Okay. So first of all, our students would have to understand what the word ratio means.
Yes.
Right? It's a comparison of two quantities. So one's going to be on the numerator and one's going to be on the denominator. And what order they're trying to say, can we make them equivalent statements? Or which way do they mean the same thing? And sometimes thinking about an easier example might help with the harder one. So like 1/2 is the same thing as 5/10. And so you're like, okay. And so thinking about how that works, I always go back to 5/10, 1/2 whenever I'm doing fractions. So like with this one, 33 over 100, I'm immediately thinking 1/3, right? So you think about the piece symbol and the piece sign, how it splits it into 3 chunks. So now you want to look at the different answers there and you want to see where is 1/3 or 1/3 or 0.33%. And so already with the students too, you're anticipating what the answer could be. So if I'm looking at this number A is automatically not right because 67 is not 33.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You can cross that one off, right? D also is not right because 100 doesn't go on the top. So 100 is always on the bottom. So
exactly.
Deductive reasoning or critical thinking skills.
Yeah.
So even before your students are doing math, they can look with their mind and just kind of go, does 100 go on the top? No. Is 67 the same thing as 33? No. So you can kind of limit that down. So now we have 2 options in the middle. So now looking at those 2 options, it wants to get closer to which one could what be. The big example here is going to be the negative sign. If you look at those, Mrs. White, the B and C are the same, except for the negative sign.
For the negative sign,
so if you go up to the answer at the top, does it talk about a negative sign? No.
No.
So it's obviously not the negative sign one. So it should be part C. The answer should be C.
Yes, correct. But Mrs. Watkins, those explanation will actually be found onto the reading material should the student go over that interactive Flexbooks lesson first. Which is why, so let's say, for example, I'm a student that I really didn't read it. I went to the practice right away. So I don't know the answer, which is why there is this button that says need a hint. So it'll give you actually a hint. The first value give is the numerator and the second is the denominator. So there is a hint that actually was provided for the students, which is why we select correct. So they automatically get the right answer, which Mrs. Watkins gave us. So they actually find out, oh, I got it right. So that's another thing about the adaptive practice is that students can automatically know what they got instead of waiting for the results. So right after they answer, they get it, whether they get it right or wrong.
I believe with that too, Mrs. White, sometimes our students have taken it and maybe they got a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I want to take it again.
Take it again.
So when they take it again, the questions will actually mix up. And they'll add new questions. So it's extra practice for your students to solidify their learning for the concept. But also they might want to keep practicing until they get 10 out of 10.
Yes, exactly. And if a student, so let's see if a student answer it wrong. So let's say the student didn't answer. Oh, I got it right. I didn't even read it. Okay, but if the student answered wrong, so let's say the student just put a random number
Mm-hmm.
and it's wrong, obviously. So it will actually give us an explanation, no? As you can see over here, let's full screen. So not quite. Try dividing. So it's kind of like coaching the students also. And that is one way this adaptive practice is actually helping the students really understand what they're trying to answer, not just a simple like
Like a
answer.
personal tutor.
Yeah, exactly. And which is why they're actually launching an artificial intelligent tutor. And I can't wait for them to actually have that. So this is your adaptive practice. So, and if you notice this wheel over here on the upper middle part, it says beginning level. So if your students keep answering the question correctly, consecutively, this skill level actually increases from beginning to exploring and so on, which I'll show you in a few minutes. Thank you, Mrs. Watkins, for joining me, but she will be in the backstage with us cheering on me. Thank you so much, Ms. Watkins. So that is your adaptive practice. And you can assign specific concepts. You can actually, try to really get the best out of these adaptive practice because it, even if the students, let's say, for example, they got it all wrong, after a while, they'll really learn from the mistakes that they're committing on these adaptive practice, and they actually retain the concept much better, in which I saw in some of my students who are struggling in the classroom, but then again they really wanted to get 10 out of 10 in that practice. And so right after that, the score actually doesn't even matter anymore, because what matters is that, oh, I found out na ito pala yung ibig sabihin nitong aking inaaral. Kasi yung realization ng mali ng bata is more powerful than just the score itself. So that's your adaptive practice. So here's another thing. So let's say, for example, we already have our class established and all that. Nakakapag-generate kayo ng parang heat map na tinatawag, to show kung nasaan ang mga estudyante natin in terms of their mastery of the concept. So here's an example. So parang lang siya, snapshot lang siya. So let's say you have several students. I'm sorry, I cannot share my students' data, but this is an example of how the heat map looks like. So kung green, that means that students have deep understanding of the concept that you presented. Proficient, so para siyang light green. So dark green is mastery, light green is proficient, developing is yung yellow to orange, and then beginning is yung red. So this is actually very helpful in terms of like, do I need to reteach or to emphasize this concept, for example, to my students? Kasi makikita mo yung trend when you generate this report. So this is your adaptive practice reporting na pwede mong i-pull after makakuha kayo ng data from your students after they have answered either adaptive practice or quiz. So that's another cool feature of CK-12, and that will also help us in actually guiding our instruction as well. Now, another feature that I really love about CK-12 is the use of interactive. So meron silang dalawang interactives na sobrang engaging for the students. Yung una is yung plex interactives, and yung isa is yung simulation, no? So the simulation is actually embedded interactives throughout the lesson, o pwede siyang standalone din na pwede mong i-assign sa students mo, from a very, very single exploration or complex. Tapos, meron siyang mga questions embedded to it. And they can even provide you with some worksheets that your students can answer. So the first one that we'll take a look at is yung Plex Interactive. So the Plex Interactive, it's kind of like a game. Meron siyang, pwede siyang graphic organizers or whatnot. There's also some questions that your student can answer while they interact with the interactive platform. So here's an example of a Plex Plex Interactive. So science naman tayo. So so the topic here is shared traits of all living things, characteristics of life, and stuff like that. So if you notice on the right-hand side, ito yung interactives na. So draggable siya. So you can drag the word. So grows and develops. Again, a living thing. Cannot respond to environment. So non-living thing. So you can actually drag and drop and place the answer, and then the student can immediately find out if they group the statements correctly or not. And I hope that I got it right. Okay, and you can check. So will not change unless acted upon. Mali, non-living. There. So that is your Plex Interactive. So isa lang yan sa napakadaming interactive in CK-12. And apart from the interactive part, there's also what we call a challenge me, wherein they ask questions and the students will evaluate what they learned from this interactive activity that they have. So which of the following are examples for organisms producing new organisms like itself? Alin ba ang tama dito? Bacterium dividing to 2, meron pang isa, tama ba? Yes, so that's your Plex series. So there's a lot of resources for math and science, most especially, na pwede natin gamitin itong Plex Interactive. And I hope, sana po, kung kayo po yung nasa school, pag uwi nyo po, I would recommend for you to check out, especially for our math and science teachers, dahil marami po tayong mapapabaon sa mga estudyante natin pagka nagpasukan, dahil sobrang exciting, and I'm really excited na po kasi habang ina-explore ko ito, everything in my head is like, I'm really thinking about what I wanted to use for my students kasi I know that my students will be more engaged, lalo na kung if they're interacting with the material, not just reading, not just, like watching, but also being involved in what they are actually learning using these interactive platforms. Which is why, i-discuss ko rin sa inyo is the other interactives, which is your Plex Interactive. So here is, I'll full screen again. Here is an example of simulation interactive. So aside from Plex, we also I would encourage you to use the simulations that CK-12 has. There's a lot of CK-12 simulations for physics and chemistry, most especially. And you can, manipulate the values. They even include the graph and stuff like that. That is useful. So here's an example of the exploration that I love a lot, which is the rocket launching. And I'll skip the intro. So you can manipulate the values of, oops, sorry. So I move. So you can manipulate. So the mass of the rocket and the burn time of the rocket, and at the same time, the rocket thrust. So let's say, for example, I wanted light, and then I want my rocket fuel to burn very long, and then the thrust is, I'll keep it at 8. So if you simulate this rocket launch, as you can see sa taas, meron kang makikitang graph. The velocity, over time, the velocity over time, and then of course the altitude, kung gaano kataas yung inabot ng rocket when it launched. So that is actually so cool, lalo na kung kasali ito sa inyong kino-cover na content for science. And also sa taas, you can click a tutorial. So there's actually a video tutorial on how the students can use it. So, halimbawa, inassign ito sa mga estudyante nyo, there is a tutorial. There's also this box that tells you what concepts are included in this simulation, such as your acceleration, acceleration due to gravity, graphing motion. So, they actually share and show that as well para malaman nyo kung akma ba ito sa inyong gustong i-cover for your lesson. And also, meron din yung challenge me question. So, na pwede nyong i-ask sa mga estudyante nyo to answer, let's say, for example, in their Google Classroom or Canvas and so on. So, this is your simulation. So, it's very cool. So, na-excite na nga akong dami ko na naiisip na gusto kong gawin for my class next year. So, that is your simulation. Now, let's go to classes. Paano naman kung mag-assign tayo ng classes, no? So, yung classes natin sa CK-12, pwede tayong mag-assign manually or pwede natin i-invite yung mga estudyante natin to sign up to be a CK-12 student. So, paano yon? So, if you have your teacher account, just go to My Classes. So when you go to My Classes, you can create your own class. I know na some of you are using learning management system already. I will explain po what's the difference. Ano bang mas maganda? Kailangan ba meron kang CK-12 class o kung meron ka ng Google Classroom, pwede bang mag-assign na lang from Google Classroom or something like that, no? So, first and foremost, kung gagamit ka lang, so ang ginamit ko before is, palaginin ko yung mga bata ko sa CK-12 lang. Kasi nung time na ginagamit ko to at the very, very infancy stage of my use of CK-12, nakikita ko yung insights, bale. But I recognize na meron na tayong mga ibang learning management system na pwede nating gamitin that talks to CK-12, no? But if you are going to add students, all you need to do is to create a class. So meron na akong class na na-create. And then all I need to do is to click Add Students. So either you can invite the students by email. So pagka pinili nyo itong by email, itong message na ito will give the students instruction on how they can be added as a student in your CK-12 class. And all they need to do is to do a class code. So kung familiar na kayo sa Google Classroom and to add students or how the students can join the class, it's the same way. But of course, kung meron na kayong Google Classroom, you have the option not to do this anymore. Although, yun nga lang, hindi natin makikita yung insights reports kasi yung reports na makikita natin is mostly just their proficiency level if it's from the learning management system. So this is the classes, and any assignments that you assign to your students would be posted as well when you create a class. So in this case, I have class assignments. I've already assigned DNA, and then I've assigned add whole number and stuff like that. So how is that gonna look like kung meron kang estudyante, no? So, let's say, for example, I will assign this assignment to a student. So, madali lang. So, overtime na tayo. But when you assign an assignment to a student, so papakita ko na lang sa inyo na nag-assign na ako before for a class. So, this is for my class before, like a long time ago. It was the last school year. And I assigned an assignment for, what do you call this? For Life science. So, habang nag-iintay tayo sa bagal ng internet, let's go to a CK-12. Oops. Sorry po. Okay, so here's a CK-12 assignment na inassign ko way back before. So, if your students assigned, you assign it sa LMS, sa Google Classroom, so you can actually see their test results. So let's say, for example, this student right here, and they've answered the question. So when I click their test results, you will be able to see the heat map of all your students' performance from Google Classroom to when you click the CK-12. So if you notice, makikita mo yung class list mo and so on, and then the student is at the beginning level. They got 10 correct answers, but if you look on the right-hand side, makikita mo kung saan nagkamali yung bata. No, this is the report that's generated from it. So yung mga bata na ilang beses nilang sinagutan or whatever, they're at the beginning level because maybe they need more understanding of the concept itself. So yun yung if you are going to use your learning management system, no? So that is an example of how you can link. That's why hindi lang po pag-create ng classes sa CK-12, pwede po natin i-integrate ang CK-12 into your learning management system such as Google Classroom, Canvas, Schoology. So nag-uusap yung yung mga yan, yung mga learning management system na yan to CK-12. So papakita ko lang sa inyo real quick kung paano natin i-assign sa Google Classroom. So let's say for example, gusto kong i-assign ito sa aking estudyante. So all I need to do is to click Google Classroom. So if your learning management system is there, then you have to click I don't see my LMS. So I don't know what's gonna happen on that. But there is a help kung wala yung learning management system. But primarily, it can be your CK-12 class or your Google Classroom. So connect to Google Classroom. So once you connect to Google Classroom, then it'll ask, it'll have you log in again and then verify. So you can actually assign this assignment to your classes in your Google Classroom class roster. So if you notice, ayan na yung aking classes sa aking Google Classroom. So I'll just click check. Now, you have the option to say show answers. Lalo na kung, distance learning, I would want my students to know the answer right away than just, having them answer. So, and then click assign. Now, how is that going to look like on my Google Classroom? Google Classroom side. So, ito ang itsura niyan. So, I'm going to go to my 7B class. And if you notice, on my streaming, it says, Carla Y posted a new assignment via CK-12 pictures of ratios. So, yan po yung assignment na na-assign sa nag-iisa kong estudyante na si Carl White. So, all the student need to do is to click this. Pagkakindik na yan ng bata, that's when they are connected to CK-12. So, yan po pagka in-integrate sa learning management system ninyo. And then, pagkakindik ng bata ito, makikita nila yung assignment nila. Well, syempre, ako yung nakalagin ngayon. So it will ask them to log in to their own username, Google username and password, and then it will allow them to add and, of course, complete the assignment that you added onto your Google Classroom. So, yan po ang power ng CK-12. So, wow, 6:58 na pala. So, there are other single sign-on too para to sa mga, I think for our schools here that it can be linked. So, ito kasing mga single sign-on na ito, ClassLink, Clever, para siyang one-stop shop of all the learning platforms na pwede mong i-add sa profile mo para they're all in one place. So, CK-12 has that capability to add it onto your single sign-on account. So sa school namin, ginagamit namin yung Clever, wherein all the learning resource platform that we use, you can add it onto your profile. So para isang click na lang at hindi mo na siya itatype pa. So yun yung single sign-on. Modality integration. So when you say modality integration, so pwede mo siyang i-embed sa Edmodo, sa Kidom, and Safari Montage. So that's it. That's our CK-12. And I encourage you, all math and science teachers, to please explore the power of CK-12, because I kid you not, it is very, very user-friendly, and it is also, have wealth of resources na pwede natin gamitin. We do not need to reinvent the wheel. Huwag niyo pong pahirapan yung sarili ninyo. Ako na po nagsasabi sa inyo na marami na tayong pwedeng mag-focus sa ibang mga bagay, social-emotional learning mga estudyante natin, and let CK-12 help you, streamline your instruction, and at the same time to guide you also on how you can make your content very engaging and fun for your students. And then actually sa totoo lang, ako rin nag-e-enjoy to explore all these features of CK-12. In fact, sa math, I'm not really exploring more of the math, pero nung nakita ko yung materials nila in math, it was really engaging for me. So hopefully sa mga estudyante, we can also share that. That being said, meron na tayong mga questions that we would like to answer. And by the way po, I will open the webinar link after our session today. So yung mga umattend po today, I will provide you with your certificate of attendance after this. But in the meantime, let's answer some questions. Let's see. Insights, ma'am. Parang analytics or progress po ba ng mga bata? Yes, para siyang progress ng bata. And then the insights actually will also tell you how many seconds or minutes nag-spend ng time yung bata sa bawat part nung lesson na inassign mo sa kanila. So let's say, for example, you assigned a lesson in arithmetic sequence, for example. So makikita dun sa insight. So let's go back to this. So itong insight na pinakita ko kanina, no? It will tell you how many minutes they spend on this particular passage. And then you can see at the top kung yung bata ba ay na-master na yung skill nitong assignment na ito, and how many minutes they spent on the lesson. So yun yung insights. Thank you, Teacher RB, for the question. Mr. June Abejo. Hi, Sir June. Pwede po ba i-embed sa Google Classroom yung simulation? Yes, sir. So, ang gagawin nyo lang dyan to embed it to Google Classroom is to simply, so let's say gusto mong i-assign to sa mga estudyante mo, you just simply click assign. So, let's make our, so simply click assign. Pagka kinlik mo tong assign na ito sa taas, it will actually have you the option to connect your Google Classroom to CK-12 para mai-assign nyo po sa Google Classroom. So, lagyan nyo lang na instruction. So, pagka kinlik nyo na yan, since ako na-load ko na yung mga klase ko, kumbaga nakipag-usap na yung CK-12 to my Google Classroom class rosters. So, once na they are already integrated, just click the class kung saan nyo gustong i-assign, and then the due date, and then pwede nyo nang i-assign. So this is actually how you embed and how they actually talk to each other. Thank you po, Sir June, for the question. I hope that helps. And then for Ma'am Marilyn. Hi, Ma'am Marilyn. Is it possible to utilize CK-12 resources in Moodle, specifically the Flexbook? Ma'am, ang advice ko dyan for Flexbooks, what I would recommend for you is to share the link. So ang example niyan, so let's say for example, gusto mong i-assign yung Flex. Let's go to my Flexbook. So let's say for example, this Flexbooks here. So let's say meron na tayong collection ng Flexbook Flexbooks natin, pwede mo siyang i-share at pwede mo siyang i-download, no? So, let's, oops, we can't see it. Mrs. Watkins, okay, thank you. So, pwede mo siyang i-share sa Moodle by downloading the whole entire book into a PDF file. So, yan yung pwede mong gawin to share it to Moodle. No? So, you can download it. Siyempre, hindi ko download din kasi masyadong maraming content. But yes, you can share it this way. Thank you, Ma'am Marilyn, for the question. And if you have more questions, please let me know. Meron pa po ba tayong questions for today? Wow, Ma'am Maria, thank you. No questions, but thank you for encouraging. Thank you so much, Ma'am. At meron pa po ba tayo? Is there any other questions? I thought I saw something. Okay, here. I have a question po from Teacher RB again. Ano po yung difference niya kay Google Classroom? May advisable po ba siya to compare to Google Class? So, RB, ang pagkakaiba niyan sa Google Classroom is that yung CK-12, learning management system na siya, pero meron na siyang content embedded into it. While Google Classroom, you have to embed and you have to put in your own content sa Google Classroom. So, yun yung pagkakaiba ng CK-12. And of course, pagka nag-assign ka ng, halimbawa, gumawa ka ng klase sa CK-12, syempre, yung mga content lang nila pwede mong i-assign sa mga students mo in CK-12. For Google Classroom, you can use other learning platforms that you can add as a content to your Google Classroom. Kasi ang Google Classroom talaga, ang learning management system na yan is for us to manage our classroom and then parang virtual classroom, kumbaga, na tayo ang maglalagay ng mga content. So thank you, RB, for that question. And syempre, Sir June, nakaka-excite. Yes, it is very exciting time for us to really explore more about this Google, not Google Classroom, our CK-12, and lalo na that we can actually integrate this with our Google Classroom kung gagamit tayo ng Google Classroom. And I guess that's about it. So, kung meron pa po kayong tanong, please visit my Facebook page, Ginang White Science Online. And mag-usap po tayo kung meron pa po kayong mga questions. But CK-12 is really something that I would highly recommend sa inyong mga science and math teachers. Sobrang stressful po ng time natin at this time that we are all joining distance learning, remote learning, and all that. And sabi ko nga, wag na po tayo mag-reinvent ng panibagong way of teaching kasi marami na pong platform existing. So wag niyo na pong pahirapan yung sarili ninyo. Okay? And I think more than anything, yung mga content na pwede natin gawin is yung ating mga video lesson that would make our lessons more personalized. But when in terms of having the students continuously engaging with the content, I think learning resource platforms such as CK-12 will be very beneficial and more than enough para sa mga estudyante natin. Ang payo ko lang po sa inyo, like what I've said before, please do not smother. Wag niyo pong lunurin yung mga estudyante ninyo with all the learning platforms na gagamitin ninyo because nakakalito rin na paiba-iba ng learning platform ang gamit natin. At meron ako nakitang question. There's a question. Is CK-12 for free? Yes, Myla. This is for free. Mrs. Watkins, just like Ms. Watkins says, it's free 99. It's free. Walang bayad ang CK-12. So, that's why excited akong i-share sa inyo. So, that being said, iiwan ko po kayo ng video ng aking mga graduates. But before we do that, next week po ulit, I will be co-hosting with Dr. E in Number Bender Live. So it's about students' expectations on distance learning. This is about students naman. So kanina kung naabutin niyo si Dr. E at the beginning of the live session po natin, we are going to talk about what students think. Ano nga ba yung mga tanong na meron ng mga estudyante natin about distance or remote learning? Bibigyan pa kaya sila ng baon ng mga magulang nila ngayon na nasa bahay na lang sila, di ba? So, medyo masakit yan. Kung ako ang tatanungin ninyo, mukhang iiyak ako kasi baka hindi na ako bigyan ng baon ng nanay ko. So isa yan sa ating mga tatalakayin next week with number bender. So, abangan nyo po yan next week po. Sa Lunes, alas 9, nandun na naman po ako sa Number Bender Live. At syempre, yung aking Ginang White Science Live po, I will announce next week kung ano po yung mga upcoming sessions. Pero nagpo-focus po ako ngayon sa mga graduate po ng ating coursework for effective integration and video content. That being said, yung mga estudyante na nagpasa ng kanilang Flipgrid assignments and video, ipapakita ko yan sa ending ng aking webinar today para naman po makita ninyo yung kanilang mga obra maestra at mga video content. Snapshot lang naman kasi 5 minutes lang ang maximum na pwedeng i-add dito sa ating broadcasting today. That being said, maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat sa pagtutok dito sa ating Ginang White Science Live. At kung meron po kayong mga tanong or anything that you have in your mind, please don't hesitate to contact me. Maraming salamat po at magkita-kita po tayo next week kay Number Bender Live. And yes, thank you, Mrs. Watkins, for that. And again, thank you to our webinar sponsor, Hands-On Technology, LLC here in San Diego, California. Sila po ang nagpo-provide sa atin ng ating webinar certificates. And of course, they are actually pushing for globally competitive educators just like you. Maraming salamat po at magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. This video that I'll be showing is for my students in our coursework. Congratulations po sa mga nagtapos at magkita-kita po tayo sa August 1st at 10 in the morning dyan sa Pilipinas when you graduate. Marami pong salamat. Paalam!
Everyone, I am Ma'am Thea or Teacher Thea. I have been teaching here at the school for 4 years.
Hi students, how are you? I hope you're doing well. I am Mrs. Caracco, but you can call me Teacher Cara.
Hello everyone, welcome to our science class. I'm Sir Rob Celso and I will be your science teacher for this school year. Let me discuss to you the lessons that we're going to tackle for this school year.
Hello boys, welcome to our 4th grade science. This school year I will be your teacher. For this school year, this is what we will do. We won't be going to classrooms, to schools, but we will be staying at home and we will just meet or we will just receive your schoolwork via Google Classroom.
Good day, Liceans! Today, I'm doing this video introduction and announcement. By the way, I am Mang Paula Maureen C. Dizon, and you can call me Mang Pao.
Hello everyone, I'm Teacher C, your science teacher. Welcome to my class. You can call me Ma'am Zez. This school year, we will try to make our lessons more enjoyable, more exciting, and more engaging so that we can learn and grow together.
Good day, grade 10. Welcome to our Math 10 class. I'm Teacher Divine, or you can call me Ma'am D.
Welcome to my extraordinary science class. My students call me Teacher Kat. Education and learning must go on. Even though we're facing COVID-19 pandemic, do not stop to learn, read, like, sing, dance, have fun with your classmates while discovering new things in science.
Hello to grade 9, coming grade 9 and I will be your grade 10 science teacher. Ano pa na sitwasyon, tuloy ang edukasyon. So,
hi everyone, I'm Yan Abdul Kakas from the Commerce Learning, and I will be your teacher for this online class in General Mathematics. The General Mathematics covers 3 chapters.
Good day everyone, I'm Cecil S. Preciano, and I will be your English teacher for the school year 2020-2021. As a student, you are responsible for number 1, reading and completing all requirements.
Hi dear students, I am teacher Christian Armasillo. For this video, we are going to learn about the different properties of metals, metalloids, and non-metals. Are you excited?
Hello, good morning. I'm Neil Andrew Tikakas, your teacher for this subject. For today's topic, we'll be discussing about functions and their graphs. So for today's objectives, the learners are expected to determine whether the relation represents a function.
Good day everyone. I hope you're having a good day today. Our lesson for this day is about the elements of literary text. Have you heard of this? This day, we're going to identify the elements of literary text.
Our topic is plate boundary. Plate boundary is the location where two lithosphere plates meet.
Hi students! Ayan. Dahil sa inyo, na-motivate akong gawin tong video na to at gusto ko talaga agad-agad, and because of the results of your quiz 2, mas lalo pa ako na-encourage na gawin tong video na to. So I will discuss about Mendelian and non-Mendelian inheritance, okay?
Hello everyone, I'm Teacher C, your science teacher. Our point of discussion today is about pure substance.
Good day, grade 10. For today, we're going to discuss the next lesson on patterns and sequences, and that is about arithmetic sequence.
Hi everyone, this is Teacher Sher. I hope you're staying safe and healthy at home. In today's lesson, we will explore what is matter and its three states.
Hello, Ginang. In today's lesson, we're going to have the circulatory system. Are you ready to listen? I hope you have already read and opened some of the resources given to you so that we can easily get through our first week.
I hope you are doing fine in your homes. Today, we're going to tackle the sexual characteristics of organism or offspring.
Hi everyone, today is our day for lesson 3 in science. So in your books to page 10, let's check your answers. So number 1, tool for measuring how long something is. C, ruler. Very good. 2. So last year you already learned about telling time, right? You already know how to tell 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock.